guys, or good afternoon if you are in here. So today what we're gonna do is we're going to review some of the pre-processing and discretization especially, and we're gonna look a little bit at the a priori rules. First of all, do you guys see the screen? Right?
What screen?
Yeah. My screen.
See it.
Yeah, good. I have our studio open. Okay. So basically, we're gonna do today is I made up the data set which we're gonna call grades, and I'm show you what happens when we use different discretization methods. That's how it starts. But for your homework assignments, I'm gonna look at results interpretation. Based your homework assignment, the durable needs to show an application of the material that we are working with, right? I'm gonna show you something a little different approach than what you see in a Word document. There is an alternative way to open a data set. Look, tools, import set from file. Nice, and I'm gonna go to the folder where there is this, and I made up the data set, the CSV file called grades. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna select it. Giving me an option to string variable as factors. Right now, I'm going to check because I want my gender to be the factor variable. This gender, it's if a person is repeating the class as a numeric grade. However, in your project, if you have a variable such as name, you don't keep it as a factor, right? Okay, so now here it says if the first row is headings. I want to keep my first row as my headings. So I'm as is, and I'm going to import. Isn't it nice, see this? Over here, it's telling me the command that it ran behind the scene to open my file, and I have a preview in here. Now, very important, guys. The digitization is only numeric variable, all for numeric. It's not meant to be for the factor variable. So the idea here is, for instance, we've got grades. And I might not be interested in whether you got 95% or you got 83%. What I'm interested in the grade, right? So this way, I'm going to show you the difference between the equal interval in equal frequency and the user defined. So that I'm going to do equal interval. That means we have letter grades F, C, B, and A. Right? So I have 4 intervals. Listen from 0 through 25 is BNF. 12 through 50 is going to be A, right? And 50 to 75 is a B. Nice. And then from 75 to 100 is going to be an A. So what I do here is, first of all, I have to load my packages. Otherwise, it's not going to know what discretization is, right? I have to go to path right here. I already have it installed. So rules. Note that it's saying that it's loading the matrix. It's dependent. Sometimes when there is a dependency in packages, so load it here too. And then I'm scrolling down, and I'm finding discretization. So another way to do, you can just select it here, right? What we're gonna do is we're gonna run the discretization function. And suppose that I don't remember the syntax. What I could do is I would type the question mark, and I'm going to type discretization. A disc, right? Yep. It's giving me syntax, right? It's giving me the function name, and it's giving me the parameters that it takes, labels, and I'm going to show you what all of that means, right? What I'm going to do right now is some of you asked me that if you run it actually on a data set straight, what happens if you made a mistake? Undo, right? So we're going to do first, we're going to do some preview. We're going to see how it looks like. So I'm going to run, I'm going to say discretize, right? Discretize. Oh, see, that's nice, isn't that nice? I'm typing it and it's giving me a little hint. Okay, oops. Okay. Okay, take a look. What we're going to do here is I'm going to put the date it's for my variable. So what's the data set name is grades, right? And keep in mind that this is the case sensitive. I put grades and I put the $sign. $sign, I put the name of my variable. Isn't this nice? I'll do this. Now the second order is going to be discretization method. So I'm going to do is I'm going to do the interval first. Interval, right? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to specify the number of categories. It's 4. But am I going to get what I need right now? Not really. Because it's hard to read. I don't know what letter grade is it. Do I? What is it? It's divided into the full case somehow. It does not make sense, does it? Nope. I'm going to add my labels. I'm going to have 4 intervals, and I want to assign a label to each interval. So, and I'm going to say labels. I have to create a list. To a list, D. Parentheses, I'm specifying my list elements with then put C, and then a comma, and I put a B. So the grade. You like what happens? Oh, see, I'm getting an error. I have this double quote, I think. Yep. Let's try it. And what I do is I hit on the upper arrow key, and that always repeating the previous command, right? So not sure why. For some reason, it's what it's doing is it's inserting the quote twice. That's how sometimes it's doing it. So we have 4 labels, right? It's doing, but guess what? Here's my cheat sheet. So what I was right before remains ahead of time. So instead of displaying it, I'm assigning it to a variable. Okay. Extra space. It was an extra space. Okay. So here it is. I added another variable, and I equal to the discretized grades, and I'm doing it interval method, and I'm doing it 4-letter grades. Letters F, C, E, A. So now what I'm gonna do is let interval grades is, so either type the print command or this interval grades. There. Does it make sense right now? Yes. So 57.14 is an F, 95.05 is A, here my B, but what's in here is sometimes you get in a B where you should have gotten a C, or this grade number here, see this, a B, but should be a C. There's something wrong with it, isn't it? What frequency? But you think frequency is gonna be fair? So that the class gets an A. So what is the frequency? I'm gonna assign, perhaps I have 29 people, right? 29 divided by 4, right? So what I'm gonna do is perhaps the first, just approximately, perhaps 9 people, where 4 got an A. Next 8 people with a or get a B, and so on. So the possibility that your grade is 90, but you got an F. What we'll do is, I'm gonna copy my comments here. It's gonna be the frequency. And if you guys like, I can upload this code afterwards. Okay. I'm going here, I'm gonna paste it. So basically what frequency does is it's gonna split in intervals. Each interval would have approximately the same number of operations. So this I hit the enter key. Now if I want to preview it, a very important thing to keep in mind is variable. Hello? The question? Oh. So this over here, this window, it lists all that I have in the session. Variable grade is a data frame. The code contains several attributes, just take and grade. Just a variable. So it's a factor variable, all levels. So it means the possible value. And presented here means that the observation has F, because that's a first value. Next observation has an A, because fourth valid value, right? Here is A, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is read this. Interval grade, and we've got the frequency grade. We review them right here, or we can just do the. We can just type this guy right here. Control C. Copy. Go. So do you guys see any differences? See this? Number 3 here was a B, and now the person is getting C. 3% is now a C, because I'm not looking at the intervals, I'm looking at the other taking the first number of people with highest grade, then the next certain number of people with highest grade. And what you guys can do here, see these little errors, what we can do is we can sort it. If I sort it descending, I'm my highest grade, I'm gonna see my lowest grade. But it makes more sense when I'm gonna combine all this in a single data set. I'm gonna show you shortly. But right now, so we have a frequency. Now we're gonna do the user defined. I'm going that everything below 7% is going to be an F. 7 to 80 is going to be C. 90 is going to be a B, right? What we'll do is I'm going to call a variable feed rate. And I'll show you what I'm doing here. I can paste here. Basically, what I'm doing in here is that this is a variable. You see anything on the screen because the value will be stored in a variable. Here, this is an assignment operator. The function, I call it discretize. The first parameter is it's a grade, right? And I'm changing the grade variable because I'm not setting the grade equal to the result of discretization. That does not change. Fixed. Now, categories. Categories is list. So I want everything from 0 to 70. So my first interval is from 0 to 70. Those are interval breakpoints. 0, 70, 80, 90, and 100. Right? So here, as a letter grade, so in between 0 and 70 is an F. Between 70 and 80 is going to be a C. Between 90 is a B. And between 100 is going to be an A. What's going to happen if you have, for instance, 101? That's converted as a missing value. That's going to treat it as NA. If you have a value that falls outside the specified boundaries, let's go it as NA. That's how it works. But right now, let's run it like here. So now it added another row here. Those are your variables. Are very case sensitive. Sometimes when you type a command and you get an error where not found, what you do is you close it up. You look at this panel and see if it's listed here. Right? So unfortunately, R is case sensitive. So lowercase x is not the same as the uppercase x. Something to keep in mind. So it's hard to see, right? If we want to see the correspondence of the letter grades with numeric grade, I'm going to combine 3 columns, this data frame, a list. How it is, I'm going to use a function, and the function is called the C bind. So right here, I'm going to do this Control E right here. So and here I'm specifying what I want to convert, so to speak. But here you need to keep in mind that the number of rows indicates both number of values in this one, and in this one, and in this one. It does, right? So I'll hit enter here. See what happens? The 95%, well, here it's correct, but here we start getting discrepancies. Because here I'm looking at the frequencies. Many people got B. So basically it works like a curve. If 3% becomes a C. Because here I'm looking at the number of people. I'm not looking at specific point ranges. So what I could also do is I could right? So easier for you guys to see that. This makes sense. I want to make sure that this part makes sense right now. I don't know if you have questions on the discretization.
Are we looking at the percentage you say? Percentage? Yeah. That we are looking at percentage. That for instance we say the I mean the line that I see first right now is 88.25 something.
Yes.
It's a percent or a value for each student. That's
right. It's percentage grade, and what I'm doing here is I'm converting the percentage grade to the grades, right? Because when instructor posts the grades to the UMUC system, they don't post percentage grade; they put a letter grade, right?
yes.
But in general, you want to go with a fixed grade. So 50% to 100 is going to be an A, and so on. But I'm showing you what's happening if I'm looking at the frequency. Sometimes it works to your advantage, sometimes it's not. If two people got an A, with 90%, you may end up with a B. 9% is a B, because too many people got an A here. Yeah. Another thing that I ask you to do in the assignment, and a lot of people missed it, the filter. Basically, summary comment is not a filter. Summary comment just shows the statistics for the attribute. It's not a filter. What it does is it does something to change the values, it does something to add rows, or it does something to remove columns. So we're going to remove some columns, association rules. Let's see, there is an association between the grade and if a person is retaking a class and a person's gender. How about, do you think there's any association? You know, so what I'm going to do is, let's find out. So what I'll do is, I'm not going to change the grade data frame. I'm going to create a new variable. I'm going to call it my grade. And I'm going to set it equal to grade. So create another variable. And in order to see it, I can type view command. Or I could also do this head, and put the which is my grade. Bold shows the first 6 rows. I can, if I want to see the 10 rows, I can parameter, it's an optional parameter. Notice that to display the element, I hit the up arrow key. That? Okay. So what I do is I want to run the association rules, but I don't need all of the variables. I'm going to remove the frequency grade. And this, I can do it this way. I can see my age and do $, and a frequency grade, and I'm going to set it to null. Now, it has to be the uppercase now, right? So if I go do this, the head command, so I'm here this twice, right? So now do is we need to remove these two also. So do this. Do is I could just go ahead here and I can just type interval. Nice. I can reduce repetitive typing. Interval. No. Now another way to repeat command is this. Look at this. Sorry. Suppose that I want to rerun this command right here. I do this, and I do this button to console. it's gonna show right here for me. I move the grade. Be ready for creation rules. Okay, there you go. Now, oops. What did see what I did wrong? But guys, this is what I was telling you before. Is sensitive. It does not know what the grade is. It knows what this is. It's okay. So I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run a head command. What I want, and I want to see if there's any association between gender.
Yes, please do that.
What?
It's teleconference. Don't be idiot, please.
I'm sorry, guys. Anybody have a question? Hesitate to ask questions. It's a customer service. That's what I call this.
Lena, I have a question. This is Sainabu.
Yes. Hi, Senegal.
So, when you do that, like removing some variables or adding some variables, that's what's considered a filter.
Correct.
Can you add a filter? Can you show us some more filters?
Yes, we're gonna do this. Sure, absolutely, we're gonna do this. But we're gonna do this. So basically, another thing is, see, what I could do is I could do. Let's create my grade 2. My grade 2, and I'm equal to grade. Suppose that you very nice, and I wanted to add 10 everybody's grade. So what I could do is I'm gonna say my grade, and I'm gonna say percent, and I'm gonna say this grade, and I'm say this. Oops. And I'm do this. Let's try this. Does it work? Control C. Control C. Like it. That filter, because with this I added 10% to the grade. That's an example. Or also subtract 10%. So that was the filter that you could guys use. Or would only select the first 10 rows. So the filters that I was looking for. Let's go back to the my thing here. So now I'm gonna run the association rules. What I do is I need to make sure that a rules package is checked. Yeah. So this week homework, you need to make sure that a rules is checked. And this is a very important point that I want to bring up. You install a package just once, right? The package is already here to load it. Each time when you start the RStudio, you need to load this package. Otherwise, it's not going to be recognized. R does not know what a priori is. until I actually go ahead and check this right here. So now, if I hit here, it's going to me to the help page, and it lists options that the package has. And I'm running a priori, right? That's what I'm interested in. I'm going to here, and here it tells me what my method is and what parameters it can take. And there are some examples as well. Examples tells me some that I could use. Right? So, and very important, guys. I'm not sure if you had a chance to do that yet, but if you look at the course content, this one you still don't see it because this one. Okay. But I'm gonna go under here and see this RStudio resources by topic, and I have been adding stuff to this. Yes, some very important videos that I would strongly recommend you guys to watch, because those are the basics that you need to understand to move on. For example, the list. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to run some classification method, and output of the classification method is going to be stored in a variable. And a variable is a data type list. If we don't know what the list is, how are we going to interpret the results? It's very difficult, right? Because we don't know how to extract the components of the results. So somebody asked me about the data preprocessing filter. Here we are. So it's on handling missing values. You can watch that video. Here is converting numeric variables to categorical. I ran the discretize function. You can also use a cut, and here some logic functions, and then some subsetting. So here is some good examples of the upset logic statement, converting numeric into categorical. And discretization is not going to do it. For example, suppose that I have a variable gender, with two values, 0 female, 1 for male. It doesn't work because I actually know what my values are ahead of time, right? So you're going to use factor to if you want to use factor, if you have of fit of the numeric values. To cut them to factor, you have to use a factor function. And whether you do it or not depends on the method that you're running. Some data-mining methods work only for categorical variables, such as naive Bayes, and methods require continuous. You can do that, I promise. So, and you've got some videos on data visualization, you've got some videos on the association rule, and even trees. That's a big topic, right? So anyways, let's go back here. What we're going to do is the dataset name is required parameter. The rest parameters are optional, which means if I don't specify, it's going to use the default. What I'm going to do here is a priori. I'll do migrate my data frame name. Is it interested in? No. Where are my rules? Where? Why? Because they said the variable? No, not. Well, generated 7 rules, but I don't see my rules. So what to do is I have to hit the upper key again and say this. I'm gonna say rules and I'll set them to the right here, generate. So now here, some ask me that why you see the output and some commands don't? Well, it depends, because you are basically assigning the output to the variable, but some commands all print out additional stuff. So here, it's showing me the confidence. And the minimum length of a rule, it means that you must have at least one item set to be displayed. Length means that the total number of item sets on bytes should be no more than 10, and I'll show you what the item set is. Now what we're going to do is we're going to preview the rules. I just type rules. Oops, show me what I want. Show me it has 7 rules. What I need to do is I have to use inspect command. Inspect. And here I'm going to put rules. So here are my rules. What this rule is saying is that, okay, the grade is an F. If my grade is an F, I'm retaking the class, more likely. I'm taking the class for the first time. If I take the class for the first time, yeah. Well, that it's not true, but we look at the support of the rules. So we learn at for what percentage of instances this is true. That's what we're interested in here. Basically, here the confidence and support actually the most frequent rules. They will find the rules which are the case for the portion of the cases. Yeah. Minimum means I'm going to eliminate the rules that cover less than 10% of data. So basically, rules that meet the specified condition, but the problem is the confidence metric. Why? It overlooks the less frequent combinations. If there's somebody who is taking the class for the first time and getting an A, that's possible. We have it here. But if it was male, yes, I see it here. See this? I want this frequent rule. Or maybe it's valid. Who knows? So we have to look at the lift in addition to support and confidence, because number one, certain confidence they overlook less frequent rule. Number two, they don't look if these two guys right here are independent. Events are independent. So we have to look at the probabilities that these two guys right here occur together. We're going to divide by their individual probabilities. It's an independence. Metric looks at the independence. Okay. But there is another problem. Neither of these metrics are considered in the case when decisions are not true. Well, no metrics, but they are advanced and adoptional. You don't have to look at the additional metrics for the purpose of this exercise. However, if you choose to use the a priori rules method for your project, it's a good idea to just know conviction world. In your exercise handout, I'm showing you how to display them. Comments a little bit advanced. This is optional. But it's optional, it does not mean don't do it. It means do it at your leisure. Let's say it this way. Well, also doing in there, in a assignment, I'm showing you how to look at the subset of rules. For example, I want to look at grade equals A only. The good reason is that I want to see with addition that it's possible that a person got an A. And it's very important because we're going to look at the decision trees next time. And within the decision trees are rules as well, because you're traversing from the top of the tree all the way down. So you're going to see that next week. Basically, what I'm also showing you, I'm showing you how to visualize the rules. There are many different visualization approaches. So here, and I'm going to back to my code here. So what we can also do is we can change the confidence, because by default it's saying that the confidence should be above 8. I can go ahead and I can change that. That's all of, oops, what is this? What I'm gonna do is right here, say, and I'm saying rules 1. Rules 1. So that's my variable. And I use inspect command. Now I see more rules. I have the confidence less than. So big confidence, it's looking for the percentage of rules for this sub true. Even if where both these two guys here are true. Here is looking for the inputs. This is a problem right here. Well, not a big deal, but to get rid of this, set the mean, I think it's a mean length parameter, yeah. So here, and this here, mean length is 2. Basically what it's saying that, it's that you have to have do you have a question? I see your hand. Oh, so I said the minimum length equal to 2 means that my rule must have at least 2 item sets, or in other words, it's going to have 1 on each side. I'm just trying to get rid of these empty brackets over there. Just kind of like it. Okay, it did. Consider more than one metric. This is very important. Now, what we do is, I'm showing you guys how to see with the highest lift value at the top. So I'm copy and paste this command right here. See? So now I'm going to see what the source is. Guys, you asked me why the command was not working. Well, because some commands need to be executed in specific order. I ran this command, it did not know what role sorted is. So to make sure that I in fact have it, I have to go back and look right here. The data type of class. So I had to use inspect command to preview it. I not use the print command like I did before. Print or just type in the variable name. I cannot do this because it's a different data type. See this? It's a class data type. Factor data types. You have class data type, you have factor, you have data frame, you have integer. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to see what sorted rules are. We're going to have to do inspect in, oops, in, and here we're gonna enter the variable name, which is what? Rules. So with the highest lift value is on top, but see what's happening? Sometimes the highest lift value is support value. See? So we just look only at the support. You have to consider the lift controls as well. Because if the rule does not appear a lot, it does not mean that it's not necessarily something that we're not interested in. We'll still be interested in this. Now, some rules can be redundant. Well, it's difficult to see just by looking at it, but a set of commands that I gave you, and you guys can just copy and paste, just to eliminate the redundant rules. And this whole set right here, right, this whole set. Thing here is an application of how to use because here what it's doing is generating the matrix. It's one of the algorithms for the identify redundant rules. So now what we could do is we're going to add the data type here. Here redundant. Don't here yet, but so let's see what that is. So if I don't know what my data type is, what I could do is I could try the str command. Or what I could also do is I can just try this. So, but I don't like the output. It does not look that nice, but alright. What I could also, what we're gonna do right now, I remove the rules from my rules. So this is saying basically that's a redundant item set rather, because sometimes the item set could be other item set. So I'm gonna do here is this is a command here. This is a filter. This is secretly behind the scene. It's a filter. Because saying here, if mul is not one of the rules on this list, if one of this list, then I keep it. So prompt into be a set of rules that do not contain any of these item sets right here. Right? We want to select the rules that don't contain any of this. So keep it if this is not one of these. So that's a filter, right? It is because I'm reducing the number of values here. Right. Now I'm gonna do inspect, and I put rules front. There we go. So what happens? I have less rules right now, right? Did it? If you scroll up, they see that left side retake equals y. We still have it. Still have it. Retake equals y. 1, 4, 3, 1. But I have a number, don't we? Do we? No, this one. But basically, she had more rules than. Now, if you guys see which one we're missing, 6. Yep, number 6. missing. We don't have this one. And regardless if grade is A or B, and out here, if P is an A, then retake is N. That's okay. So this is a set of remaining rules right here. I can call any way you would like to call it, but make sure that the way names match, because it's not going to know what it is. Now we can visualize this. So we just plot, and there are different methods to plot. Methods good. Like it, I'll have to look white. Oh, because I see why it does not like it. I'm going to show you why. Because I did not list my package. Right? I package installed, but student does not know that I have it. Why does not know that I have it? Because it's not in the memory. This is an error. So yet, adjust the comments. It's going on. Some of these are errors. If an error, it means the command did not run. Some that you get are warnings. It means that something wrong, something happened, it did not like something, but the command still ran. You get a warning when you're building a plot, it means the command ran. Maybe it skipped a couple points. It's not all. Do you know it ran? An example was when you ran discretization, when you chose k-means method. Because k-means method, it doesn't like the missing values at all. So it's an error. An error, it's not going to run. But if you have a missing values and you're using a frequency or interval, it's still going to run, but you're going to have a warning. You're going to have a warning, but it is still going to run. And for values, it's going to skip them. It's just going to keep them as missing values. But you get a warning because the function is calling some other functions behind the scene. So the site may have failed, but the method keeps on running, and the warning is displayed at the end. So there is a big difference between errors, warning, and message. But anytime, if you're not sure, and if you need help, promise that you're going to use your key learner lifeline. How does it sound? Few times as you need. You're going to do the conference and you're going to post questions. And I've seen some excellent questions. And they help other class members. They help your classmates. And if you guys see the question and you already figure it out, if you have an answer, you're more than welcome to respond to classmates. It's a great idea to have a discussion related to questions for the exercises, because the purpose of this exercise is to learn and to apply the concepts. So you're then welcome to respond to your classmates' posts. Respond as well. Well, sometimes there is more than one way to do search filter. So if you do filter to come up with solutions, something alternative to what I did, go ahead and respond to it. That's a plus. It helps your classmates and you helping each other as well. You help yourself as well, right? So he doesn't know what a plot is because our package, that's a package for a rule visualization. It loaded here. I see something in red, but it's a message. It's just showing me that it's calling these two packages because there is a dependency. Functions in this package, the functions in here, so hopefully what plot function is. And to keep in mind is this plot function appears in more than one package. How I force it? How do I force it to make sure that it's calling the function from this package, and it is user require command, and then I put the package name. That's a way to load the package. But here you need to be a little bit careful, because if you have a function that appears in more than one package, right? Here you need to be a little bit careful, because what if I don't want to use the plot function from this package? Be careful with this one. Okay, so now what I do is I go here and I can see the options that I have, and I'm showing you in a handout different ways to analyze the rule. And this is very interesting when the color of the circle shows it and the lift values. Circle size could represent the confidence. So, the way, guys, those exercise instructions, the graphics that you see, they were done in R. And as you will see, I use the advanced functions that are available. There is a web page, GitHub, and developers wrote their own packages that you can, and if you want to try something advanced, you can download. That is coming out each day. And it's very important. I want to tell you guys that you need to, once in a while, make sure that you get the latest version of the package. So what you're going to do here is you're going to go and you're going to do updates. Check updates. You all do this to make sure that you have the latest version. Right now it's going to tell me that all my packages are up to date because I updated it before the presentation. You want to make sure you have it up to date. It's going to say what questions you guys have.
Actually, very helpful so far. And
Thank you.
questions, yeah, that I have. Maybe that helps us to more clarify this for the.
Might have to speak a little bit louder if you don't mind.
Okay, sure. Can you hear me now better?
I do.
Okay. We are rotating under three concepts: rules, functions, packages. The rules are things that we can create, or they are our studio. They are built in, or like.
It's for different data, right? If I use different data sets, they're going to be different. It's based on data.
We create.
The program creates them for us. All in the function creates them for me. Function here. There's a function.
Yeah, that's a grade. The one that we're looking at, the black letters there. Another one at the bottom on the main page. Retake. It can be N or it can be F. It can be N or it can be Y, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that one. So yes. That's a rule. So did we create that rule?
It's a concept. And the program generated that rule for me. It's going through my data.
Okay.
Saying I have this combination in my set. I have rows. I have X number of rows where retake is equals Y and gender is a male.
Oh. Okay. It's a part of the table structure.
Well, it's looking at my data, and it's finding the combinations that I have in my data, and for confidence, they pick up the most frequent combinations. Yes. Sometimes the possibility is that the combination is less frequent, but it could be true. Some kids in the class might get an A, and that's quite common because person could repeat the class for numerous reasons. So it's high possibilities that you repeat the class and you get an A, because when you repeat the class, your grade starts lower. So there's a chance of this. Yep. There is also a chance when you repeat and fail. fail. It's possible.
It's possible. All outcomes are possible. And two more questions. One question I have is, so do the filters, um, the specific kind of filter that you want us to do? We can choose um, the data structure. We can filter based on some criteria that we prefer, right?
For
There's,
that,
there's no filter way.
the filter you use depends on the method that you're running. Because as you're going to see later on, yes, some methods work only on numeric variables.
Yeah.
Some methods work only on discrete variables.
Yeah.
Another thing to keep in mind is unique identifiers. You want to remove them.
Yeah. My last question is, basically now I see R is very flexible and can even do graphs and everything. Is it something that we can put this data, this information into a database? Can it interact with any other application? Or it's the real world applicability of this in the real world? How are we going to integrate R with any other software?
There's something called R Hadoop. Exactly. There is R Hadoop. It's an advanced topic, and I'd be touching it in a data analytics program that's advanced. R programming for Hadoop. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. And also there is an application for text analysis. That's gonna be week 10, but that specific text mining in R, that exercise is gonna be optional. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to have a set of files, and the file is going to have the description of the course from your MUC catalog, and you're going to be analyzing see what the courses have in common and which topics are covered. Yep. So you build the word clouds. You can do many things.
All right.
Yeah. So but in order to understand those complex applications, we need to know the basics. We need to practice. We know how to filter the data. We know how to load the data.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a lot of things to consider. We need to know how to save our data. We need to know and you can do the same operation in multiple ways.
Yeah. Are you the one who does our exercises or the professor does?
Both.
Both of you. Okay. Because sometimes when I see the comments, I would like to discuss. So I don't know.
So,
okay. All right.
Yeah, when you have questions, email both of us.
Okay.
So it's a two people gradient.
Involved. Oh, all right. Thanks.
Because and also what you guys gonna see is some comments. No comments result necessary. Not all comments affect grade. Some comments are just for you guys to help you perhaps if you want to get deeper in the details, like some recommendations there, or perhaps something that you might be using for your project. So I'm gonna say, hey, you might be interested in this. Or, for example, somebody asked in a summary, after the last question, somebody asked if it's possible to display the percentages on the chart. So in comments, I can just go ahead and find an example and it in. So not everything in the comments necessarily result in an action that you call it. Yeah, some comments are to help you, and a part of the feedback is to help you more because each next assignment requires feedback from current assignment. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I like questions. So, questions.
I have a this is the project that we're working on. Is it the that you put are used from the samples that you put there?
Mm-hmm.
Content?
Yeah. The thing is, what I put under the content, seriously, I tested those data sets, I cleaned them up. And I did it because sometimes very sad, I feel sad when I see a student spending hours struggling to load the data in a program. This said when it's sure that you're able to do this. Don't wait until the end. And I wanted to make sure that you have data that you can load, that it doesn't have anything that throws in, right?
Right. So saying is the data that you place there, for loading, that's the data set. And so we're supposed to go out and query more information to add to our project, correct?
And what you'll do is you're going to need to run two data mining methods. I'm going to cover it. We're going to cover more. For next week, you're going to see I wrote a cheat sheet. And it summarizes what each method does and lots of options. The week 4 is still not available. It's still mode. You still don't see it because it's still not completely ready. But you see this reference card right here. And show you what different methods are. And I'm going to show you the brief summary how to run them and what to do. There is more than one implementation of decision tree method. There is more than one implementation of the clustering method. Basically, this will help you determine which you want to use for your project. And the regression, that's going to be week 1. The regression methods. Then you got a neural network, that will be week 4. So this is very interesting, right? So sometimes you know which one to choose, so this might help you. And what else you want to do is you want to read the dataset description. Sometimes the dataset description has hints, right? And another thing is that the dataset that I put out there, they have related studies in the library. And it does not matter if more than one person uses the same dataset. It does not matter because the papers that you have are still going to be different. Still different because you see things differently than your classmates, right? And related studies might be different, but especially some sets such as cancer, that's a lot of related studies. But you need help with finding related studies. Let know, and I'm going to tell you the search criteria that you need to enter to find them. And make sure that you use the scholarly. So when you load your MUC library, there's an option to have the scholarly checkbox checked and the full text. So check those two. And so we want to try in the synonyms and to see if you get a set of results. But yes, you need to find several related studies. Like example, the cancer data set, you are predicting if the cancer is malignant or benign. Let's see what related studies do it. What method do they use? And what I'm doing. Let's compare the results I got with the results that they have in a study. What works better? Okay, it's possible that the method in related study works better. In my case, when I took the class before, the method in related studies seemed to work the methods that I use, but that's good because it adds value to the paper. So, yeah.
Again, but instead of comparing, can we, for instance, just go for descriptive, meaning taking a data set and then running the filters, working with it?
That's first part. You use the filters, that's a data pre-processing. Purpose. Like, what's my purpose? Am I predicting something or am I doing a classification? You needs to have a purpose. You need to come up with a dependent variable. variable. Anything else that you do must be done in light of the purpose. Prediction, if you want to do prediction, the one on the college news data set, that's excellent because you're predicting the graduation rate. And those studies actually exist. All data is actual data. Studies that predict the college graduation rate based on the SAT scores and the student demographics, how many students were admitted. So, yeah, go.
For instance, is like showing a relation, a purpose. Let's say, like you are talking about the cancer data set, where we're gonna say the rate of cancer related to gender or related to age. For instance, I'm working with the heart data set, and I was interested in like cholesterol rate and all that stuff related to gender and related to age. Is it considered a purpose? Or
well, the purpose is you have to predict something unclassified. You have to have dependent variable. Regarding related, there is a section on model. There is on pruning, so you want to see which attribute influences your dependent variable the most. Mm-hmm. It's to it, but you have to have a dependent variable, right?
Okay, that's true.
Right. There is a prediction. The prediction one is a body fat percentage data set. Actually, the one that I used when I took the class. And what's interesting that I've seen a lot of papers on the data set, and the papers that I've seen are completely different from my paper. So what I'm saying that it's okay if more than one student is in the same data set, no problem. Your paper is going to be different, right?
Okay, got you.
And you're going to be submitting it to the Turnitin. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is going fast. So start working on your project from the beginning. Yeah. Then twist. And a classification, that's one possibility, one method. Right? So just also look at the related studies, see what methods they use.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Questions? Yeah.
I'm a little late, to join the conference, but is it possible that we do it again?
Oh, it's going to be posted. I'm going to post the recording. Yep. What's your
this man experiencing this kind of thing? It's kind of fun, and of course, I'm the type of person that like coding stuff, especially when it comes to script writing.
No, good point. I'm recording the session. So when it's over, when I receive the file, I'll do is I'm going to convert it. I'll leave a link to the recording one way or the other. So you're going to have a recording. You can watch the session all over. You can rewind certain pieces. You can repeat certain pieces. You're going to have this. So, you're going to have the recording. Sure. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and ask questions. That's a great opportunity to ask questions now. And guys, you in DBST 611, so I've been doing my best to respond as quickly as possible. If you post your question, you get a response within 24 hours, if not sooner. I have to ask questions because that way it's helping your classmates. I don't want you struggling with the command for days, no.
Yeah, I'm kind of new to R, and I was wondering, could we have a list of more pre-processing filters?
is in this right here. Me here. Did I put this in a week 2? I think I put it in week 2.
Yeah,
So.
you gave us lots of documents. I have them downloaded.
But you need to.
The thing is, looking at it, really, I don't know what meaning that what makes sense for our course and what does not. You should go online. You have an overwhelming amount of information.
I agree with you. Basically, the pre-pro. You want to see some. You need to see some examples, right? Okay. And basically, another thing that I want you guys to do is I want to make sure that you are on this. Have any videos?
A few. And data, and like it's the, let's say, week 1, week 2, what we did.
Yeah. So you guys want to, so you guys think it would help to put more videos, right? Sure. Let's do these 2 documents, and then something on decision trees. So do you think it will help you to find more videos?
Only if there are videos that does pretty much exactly what we are doing in this class. For instance, if it is a video that works with discretization and use the method that we have in the instruction manual, yes, it can.
Sure. Yeah, the thing is, I'm looking for it, I'm working. But the thing is, the processing that you're going to do in your project in light of your data, yes. But,
sorry to cut you off. When we have a data set, it is up to us to make an educated guess and see what is the appropriate method to use with that specific data set.
It makes sense when we start get into classification and regression. But your first step is to define if you're doing classification or prediction. This is the first step, right?
All right.
This is the first step. That you're going to know, but it might be helpful to read the notes that goes with the data set. It's going to give you some ideas. But of course, if you have questions, I'm going to help you. I'm there to assist. So let's see what I can do about adding more of this. And which filters do you guys want to see? Oh, this is still open.
Yep. I don't know if everything is like me, but I don't know what was the difference between the filter and I know you saw the comment. You wrote the comment on my thing. I thought that all those comments pretty much are filter like these.
What it does is it can read a column, remove the row, and replace the missing data. It's a subset. So what I did in here, I did I added 10 first grade. Yep, because altering the data. So
all discretization methods are they considered filter as well, or they are different?
They are, but that specific assignment meant to filters other than discretization. Yeah. Basically, missing values. I can go through this here. Look at it. Scroll down. I think one of the headings shows that I was exploring data. So this command just tells you what data are. This is going to be very useful command when you start running the data mining methods and store the results in a variable, because it's going to show you sort of properties. You'll see. In command, it just shows the dimensions. This is not a filter because it does not change the data.
Okay, so a filter is supposed to change the data.
Correct. Oh, here it is. See, it's a heading called variable filter.
If you the data, is it going to alter the original data?
I can work from a copy because one of your classmates pointed out that what if I want to undo? Well, I'm research and there is no actually way to undo. If you find, no, but I would appreciate it because there is actually a way that I know to undo the commands. No, basically, to actually undo, you would have to reload the data and rerun the commands. That Oh, something else. Show me what my current working directory is. Well, it means that it's default right now. By default, it's just documents folder. This is the default, just my documents folder. But work directory in multiple ways. I can also do this here, click here, and browse right here through my files. And I can, oops, no, what's going on? You think in here I can go through here and select this. We go and say it here to make my working directory. Oh, here it is. See what I did? I went here and the folders that I want to look at, and then I click on more, and I can set the working directory. That's the third way.
Okay.
Third way. We have three ways. And you could also change the global setting of the default setting for the working directory. So many things you can do it in multiple ways. Right. But, yeah. For filter, see this? It's right here. So we're gonna do, guys, from now on we're gonna read. Carrie, right? Promise me.
No, I saw that. I read it so many times, but because in your entire documents you always give examples, and I didn't see any examples beneath it. So I'm wondering where is the filter? It just gives a description, but we don't have any examples.
Here it is. Filter function is a filter. Look at this. This is a level 1 heading.
Mm-hmm.
This is level 2 heading. So big heading, action heading.
So does it mean summary, car symboling? It's a filter?
No, summary is not. Summary just shows. When I'm running the summary command is to show you what happened before the filter and what happened after.
Okay.
Summary command to show you the effect of the filter, because otherwise, if I'm not sure what happened, it lacks purpose.
So what is the for the filter? If you want to
this one is one.
change one.
Car symboling is a filter.
Well, and symboling is a data type.
The entire command, I mean, car symbol.
Factor is a filter. Yeah. Basically, symboling is one of the attributes in a car data set, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Attributes. I go ahead and I can load this. Just go ahead here and right? It's nice because my is my directory, my work directory. I just changed it to the data set, and if you see this, it says some text files. See this? I'm already in my cars. I'm already in the right folder. Find it. It's right here. Okay, as is. But if your data for the project has things like names, you need to uncheck. But let me go ahead and do import. So this is generic. But sometimes if I'm running the method that doesn't work on numbers, I have to convert this to a factor variable. And what I'm doing is I'm showing you, if I'm doing this right now, if I put the cars, and if I put this right here, symbol, so here it is. The summary commands show me that this variable is a numeric, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is I change it. Here I'm working on a regional data set. It's dangerous because I can override it, and if I'm wrong, I'll have to re-import the data set. And I forgot to tell you, this is very important. Very important. When you're running a filter, you're not changing the data on the disk. You're on the data in memory. The loading in memory on a disk is in memory. Right, so we're going to do this car symbol and we're going to set this to store. And I put cars and we're going to symbol in SY. See, this is it. It's a good sign. I wrote it. Now, Annabelle, I'm looking at your question here. Number in it. You asked me why I don't see anything on the screen. Well, don't see it just changed the value. It's like as if I do 2 plus 4, I'm gonna see 6. But if I say x equals 2 plus 4, 2 plus 4, it doesn't mean anything. What I need to do is I need to print x. I can use print do x the same. Anyways, here I have a factor function. Yeah, this is a filter. Why? Because if I do right now, if I do this, so then the upper arrow, see an upper arrow to get to the summary command. What it does here, it's showing me my values are -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. And
Result of the factor.
Well, he's telling me how many car cards has a symbol value. That does.
Okay.
It's a frequency count. That's what it's a frequency count. In statistics, I'm getting different statistics, so that's how I know that my filter works. So the idea is, let's run a filter and validate that the filter ran and worked as it should. Right? Doing here. But you're not sure, you need to ask. Because if nobody is asking, then you're going to know that people have questions. See this here? There is a main heading called variable filter, and those are the subheadings. So it's showing you how to use a factor filter. Discretization is a type of filter, and the under white discretization, it's not looking at the query, but it's going to make more sense when we do classification. And for the different types, you use the discretization function, or you can use cut. Different the packages. I'm going to scroll down. Custom is also a filter. And the variable, that's a filter. Going down. Filters. This is row filters. Ranges. I'm not sure why it's. I'll see why it's not. Okay, now here, in rows with missing values. Oh, see what's going on. It's because it was, I should have reopened the file, but anyway, here I'm taking a subset of rows. Yeah, happening in complete cases. What one does is it kind of like returns if a row has a missing value. And I'm removing the rows that have at least one missing values. So when complete cases returns true, it means the row doesn't have a missing value. What it will do is it will filter the rows that have missing values. So filter, isn't it?
Yeah.
So data set had the missing value, that was one option. Okay, so here I can remove the rows that have a symbol in value equals to. That's filter. Important. Do is suppose that you ran a bunch of filters, and tomorrow you want to work on a data set that you filtered, so you have to save it into the file. Set the data, and it is in the memory. This is what you have here is in the memory. It will save the data from the memory buffer to file. Sure, the concept of the working directory is very important. Why? Because by default, it saves the file into the working directory. So if I were to save this file, right now it's going to save it to the working directory, which is data set right here. All right. Another way to preview things is to click here, I think. It's another way to preview. You can do the view command, or you can click on this thing right here. And one way to do task. Also this, I'm going to do this, but this is going to delete. It's going to move everything from memory that you have. There is a lot of one way to do things. If you notice how many packages is there, do we know everything? No. But how do we find out? We go click and implementation. We can type the question mark. It tells you what the function is. Like I don't know what cut function is, and that's what it is. Oops. And it's in the information. But if you not find it, then you type double question mark. It will search it further. You're going to search online on different possibilities. But a lot of developers have been writing their own functions. So lots of them. Nobody knows everything. It's a matter of looking through the documentation. And in this class, you're going to be getting what you need to run. It's an introductory course, data mining, and I want you guys to focus on the data mining itself. So whenever you're not sure about something, right? And then showing you guys how, yeah, go ahead.
Will be giving us the template of what to do every week, right? Like
yeah. And this week you're gonna get, next week you're gonna get the series. There are many decision tree implementations. But the thing is, since you're gonna be doing a project, right? I'm gonna be showing you this exercise, specific exercise in the C3, but the C3 method might not work for your data. So in videos, I have to have several implementations because you're running a different method for your. This is easy to understand, but so you need to understand what naive Bayes does. You need to understand those two. There's no exercise on naive Bayes to understand this method because, well,
it's good that you give us. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, I can go ahead and create something on it. It's not a problem.
Yeah, is it possible to give us a template for commands to follow for the project?
Yes. For the project, that's really tricky because the run needs in light of your data. So the first step is what your data is. What are we doing the prediction or doing the classification? Because the commands need to be done in light of your data. I'm giving you a cheat sheet with the methods, but you need to pick what's the data. Go ahead.
Well, I'm looking at this cheat sheet round. To be honest, I don't understand.
There's going to be another one.
Okay.
But cheat sheet, in order to understand it, you really need to go through all of the videos and another one on methods. And just tells you an overview what each method does and how you run it. Yeah. You're going to see something different this week. You're going to divide the data into two parts. You're going to use the first part to build, and the next part use it to evaluate the model. You're going to see it in the week 4 exercise. It's still, but it starts on Sunday, week 4. So, but again, for your project, the methods that you use need to be in light of your data. So the reason I need to put something in a naive Bayes is because the method is compulsory and the questions on it later on it's a fair game because that is compulsory to understand what it does. Naive decision tree, the neural network. After the midterm, we're gonna do the regression and we're gonna do clustering. Later part of the course, we're gonna look at how this would be applied to analyzing text, to analyzing the social networks, like network of people, and relationship between people, perhaps, in the work. We're good at different applications. Yeah.
My question is that, all those questions that you ask us, like if we put in the commands and then we run, the command and we get the answers. Now, are we gonna how then our answer, to align with the question you ask concerning that, because I remember in assignment 2, there's some part, I think I put in everything you wanted, but I got 8 all over 10, especially on the introduction, and I was able to explain, the information about the very topic that I picked.
Right.
And I was expecting to get everything right. you say the information is not complete.
Well, because first of all, you need to answer all questions, and also the question need to be answered in light of your data, and you need to interpret results. Because if the deliverable does not show an understanding of what screenshot shows, then the size lacks purpose. It does have a purpose.
But we follow the command and we type it in, and it gives the result. We don't, we don't.
Exactly.
Oh.
Because the exercise lacks purpose if there's explanation, because you're graded because deliverable needs to show that you're able to learn how to apply concepts that we study in the class. But I don't the application of concepts, the exercise, do the purpose.
Can you explain what discretization means?
I repeat this. Discretization means I'm dividing continuous. I have a continuous variable, such grades. That's what I started with right here. Right?
Okay.
But it was continuous. But the problem is when I suppose when it's time to submit the grades to my UMUC, an example, not look at the actual mark. Looking if your grade is either A or B or C. And discretization does is it works the continuous numeric values in set of predefined discrete values. And I'm gonna have the recording and be able to watch the demo that I did. And the discretization methods. It gave me different results. So this grade, if I say it as and above 90 is going to be an A, and 90 is going to be a B. But interval, I said that everything between 0 and 25 is going to be an F, 25 to 50 is going to be a C, from 75 is going to be a B, and so on, right? It's the frequency. I'm going to first 8 people, I'm with the scores. The first 8 people who got the higher score get an A, then 8 people give, and so on. So that one is looking at, it's trying to put approximately the same number of instances for values in the same bin. So the A is a bin, B is a bin, it's binning. So in other words, another would be an age. Note that in some surveys, they're not asking for exact numbers, they're asking the range. Are you in 25 and 65? Are you 36? 45, just an example. Does that make sense? Or
Yes.
and the discretization is only for numeric variables. Only if it's a number. Right. So, anything else? I'm hearing feedback. Okay, anything else? If you have a question, then I have a question. What are you guys gonna do when you have questions? Next, you're gonna have exercise on the classification. What are you gonna do if you have questions?
Go to a cafe and type the question.
Well, you're gonna go to the content for that week and put your question. Exactly.
All right.
Oh, Elena, exactly. Exactly. Elena.
Question. So, yeah, just like all of what we're talking about, but for instance, like you're working on a certain data set, and then you type, because I think you said it, according to the order of some of these ones that were the command that we type in, sometimes you get an error message. Is because we're not typing or asking typing the command in the right order?
Well, I was just saying that sometimes I'm going to do something, let's say, for instance, why.
Like, for instance, the rules a priori, and you type in some of the different arguments of it, and there you get an error message that says could not find function, the name of the function that you're trying to work with. What reason is that?
Multiple reasons. There are numerous reasons. Reason could be because I not load my package. The part of the package, but I don't know what is until I load my rules package into memory, right? I have to load the package into memory. Other does not know what it is. That's reason. Another reason is that such a function does not exist, simply. So the function might not exist anywhere. I'm hoping something exists. I don't know what it is.
And it's sensitive, right?
Yeah.
It's another part. So there could be errors for numerous reasons. And that's the reason I'm asking you. You have to put the sequence of commands you run to get an error. So I can get an idea of how should I reproduce it.
It's the one command inspec, in parentheses, inspec.
Well, I mistyped something, right? But what errors did I get? Yeah, sometimes I mistype things. So not an error, this is the message. Here there was an error, I mistyped something. Mistyped. Yeah, there is a typo somewhere. It did like, because secretization.
Because you can't it. It was something like it was, yeah.
Yeah.
One time.
Yeah. Because what this does is, it's calling, behind the scene, it's calling the cut function. So the function calls something else. When the execution stops, warning, the execution still runs, and you see the message. First warning could be when you're trying to plot something. If the point has a problem, it's going to do the plot, but it's going to ignore that instance and not put a warning. So that's the reason you're good. And running a discretization on numeric variables that are missing values, you might get the warning, but that's okay, because it's going to skip that specific row, but the rest of it is going to be working. Or if you attempt to run the discretization on an non-numeric attribute, you're going to get an error. It's not going to run. Or another reason is sometimes when you specify the different parameter data types, like they cannot be run on the factor variables, you get an error. Did it help?
Okay.
Well, see, the thing is, errors happen for numerous reasons. That's what we need to get.
But it's kind of hard to try to figure out what the error is, though. Like to practice and play with it.
Yeah. One thing that you could do is check, like it says a variable not found. What I would do is I'm going to look at this here, the instrument top, and I'm going to see if the variable exists.
Okay.
If it's not found in the function, it's a certain package. I can do a search, or find what right? I can do this, and if it still does not find it, there's documentation. I can type this in the whole thing, and here it's going to give me that has similar spelling. It gave me a list. Giving me a list.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, that's one way. You may or may not have noticed how I was running the discretization rule. I had the description, function description open in this window, and it helped. It's helpful to do it this way. It's helpful to do it like this. So you may navigate between the help pages. It's not to the browser you use this. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your time, though.
You're most welcome, yeah. So anybody else? Going. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay. Then we end the presentation and sure that you get the recording. Okay, you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Anna, for doing.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.